Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Veris Conley, Robert Paris, Tad Stefanak, Anthony Matos. Anthony will also be bringing you the sports report, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Peter Brown with the weather. Thank you for joining us. We begin with the loss in the law enforcement community right across the town line in Billerica. Sergeant Detective Ian Taylor passed away last Friday after he was struck by an excavator on Boston Road construction site. According to Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan, Sergeant Detective Taylor was directing a tractor trailer around the site when he was struck by the excavator as it was backing up. He was transported to Leahy Hospital and Medical Center in Burlington, where he passed away. Law enforcement agencies around the region have shared their condolences, including Burlington Police Department. BPD said in a post on X, formerly Twitter, "We at the Burlington Police Department extend our deepest condolences to our brothers and sisters at the Billerica Police Department during this profoundly difficult time. The loss of an officer is a tragedy that resonates through the hearts of our entire law enforcement community. Please know that you are not alone in your grief. We stand with you in honoring the bravery and service of your fallen hero. Our thoughts and prayers are with the officer's family, friends, and all who served alongside him. We are here to support you in any way needed." Investigations into the incident by the District Attorney's Office and the Federal Occupation Safety and Health Administration are ongoing. It was shortly after Burlington's April 6th local election, the town clerk, Amy Warfield, discovered that 116 early voting ballots had not been counted. She went to the Woburn Superior Court to seek permission to open sealed ballot boxes and count the missing ballots. And that count took place this Tuesday. BNEWS reporter Sydney Bowles says the outcome of the election did not change.
Sealed boxes from precincts 1 and 5 were brought into the town hall meeting room by a police officer. They were unsealed, and then current and former town clerks from neighboring communities identified the ballots that hadn't been counted, removed them from their envelopes, and manually tallied the missed votes. Select Board member Sarah Colley was there to observe.
I know Amy does a really great job, and just happy that she's doing it the right way, and it's clear that she is. She's got all the right people in the room to do this the right way. Looks like they found all the ballots that they were looking for, and now they're just doing the count. So I'm just here to see the democratic process in action.
Mathematically, the 49 missed ballots from Precinct 1 and 67 missed ballots from Precinct 5 could have changed the results in the school committee race or in the town meeting races in those two precincts. But when the final tallies were announced, the results were unchanged. Sania Salim lost her race for town meeting.
Amy's running a really tight ship, and it's nice to see everyone in attendance today. And I think overall it's nice to know that our town does right by the people.
But how did the 116 ballots get missed in the first place?
Somebody probably picked up a stack that they thought they were done with, but they weren't done with it.
Warfield noticed the problem quickly in Precinct 1 when the number of checked-in ballots didn't match the machine count at the end of the night. In Precinct 5, the voter history rolls didn't match the number of early ballots received. She says part of the problem was managing a high volume of early voting ballots at the polls, and she has a plan to prevent the issue in the future.
What we're going to do, and because it's allowed by law, it's been allowed by law for a couple years now, and I've used it a couple times, didn't use it this time, is what's called advanced processing. So what that process will be, and we post those meetings so the public can come and see it, is what will happen is we will take the envelopes, usually we do it either here in the office or upstairs in the hearing room. We'll have somebody check them in on a poll pad, open the envelope, they'll be flattened out, they'll be put into batches of 50. I purchased a high-speed scanner that processes about 50 ballots a minute, so we can then read them in. We don't total those numbers until the day of the election. So it's read in, it's held into the system. We can go back and do more batches and precincts and that type of thing. And then all of that stuff will be sealed up here. So it just eliminates another level of confusion at the polls.
Warfield said she's grateful for the outpouring of support she's received as she's navigated the tabulation process. For BNews Weekly, I'm Sydney Bowles.
Annual town meeting is around the corner, beginning on May 13th, and Superintendent of Schools Dr. Eric Conti says he's more than ready for it. He'll be seeking approval for the school budget, as well as for 17 capital projects and one shared project with the Recreation Commission and the town. He spoke about all of these in an interview with BNEWS this week.
Well, I think they're partial, and so I think the way that we've always worked with the town is the town's financial team gives us some parameters in which to work, and we really do our best to stick within those parameters. So there was capital money that was made available through the town's free cash allotment, and we looked at our priorities, and we tend to look at health and safety things first, and you see many health and safety issues there. Curriculum is obviously critical for us. That's the curriculum review process. And so we say, what can we fit in this year underneath that dollar amount? And we've accomplished that.
The full interview is available on our website at bcattv.org. John Keeley has been working for Burlington's Conservation Commission for 22 years, and he's proud of what he and his team have accomplished. Now, as he heads into retirement, he reflects on his decades of service and what's next for the commission. Sydney Bowles has more.
So that twee twee is a tufted titmouse. That was just a song sparrow that sang in the background. There's like 2 or 3 tufted titmice. That's the song sparrow right there.
In the 22 years he's worked for the town of Burlington, John Keeley has gotten familiar with the sounds, sights, and smells of its conservation land. He says the decades have been a positive experience.
In Burlington, you know, the thing that I've found the most satisfying is our ability to work with the residents, the public, town meeting, whatever, everybody together to protect the resources in Burlington. We've got very strong bylaws in town. We have a fabulous conservation commission with like a lot of institutional memory. Great team of people. The administration's been great. I've worked under 3 town administrators. Everybody's been really supportive. So it's a really great town to work for.
As for what he's most proud of, Keeley says it's in the details.
Well, it's kind of sounds a little boring, but some of our bylaw work, we've passed a stormwater bylaw in the last few years and amended it more recently. We have wetland bylaw and regulations, which are pretty cutting edge, I think. You know, we've got features of our wetland regulations that we're really proud of, like our protection of vernal pools, which is much stronger than what the Massachusetts State Wetlands Protection Act does. So those are the big accomplishments, I'd say, are regulatory things.
And as for his advice to the next generation of leadership?
Just be flexible, work with the people in Burlington. They're all great to work for, and rely on your team, your board, other departments. We work well with the building department, the planning board, Board of Health, DPW. Just work together as a team. We
wish John Keeley all the best in his retirement. From the Mill Pond Conservation Area, I'm Sydney Bowles.
The Burlington Police Department lost a member of the family this week as retired canine Havoc passed away. Havoc worked alongside canine handler Sergeant Joe Papsadero and helped with all kinds of calls in the 10 years he served on the force. He was even part of the 2013 manhunt for the Boston Marathon bombers. Havoc retired in 2020 and went to live with Sergeant Papsadero as a family pet. Upon his retirement, his colleagues and town officials had some kind things to say about his work.
He's been nothing short of a phenomenal partner. Everything I could have asked for in a dog, in a canine, he's been.
He is a great canine, and Joe Papsadero, the handler, they truly work as a team, and they get called out. It's a 24/7 job, and it is so nice to have a canine like Havoc within the confines of Burlington should something happen.
Well, it's great to see Havoc here. He's been a wonderful asset to the town, along with Joe. Joe's a really good officer. I said earlier tonight, Joe has a Class A personality, so the dog does also.
The Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce gathered recently for its spring soiree, bringing businesses big and small under one roof for networking and celebrating. Sydney Bowles has more.
The Archer Hotel Burlington was abuzz on May 2nd as members of the business community reconnected with old friends and built relationships with new ones.
We're here at the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce Spring Soiree. It's an annual celebration of membership. It gives us an opportunity to have members from all walks of life and different industries to be under the same roof at one time.
So it's a great way for everyone to get together, and this way we can get to know each other, and have each other come into each other's businesses and see what we're all about. But also, when someone comes to the neighborhood, or if they're opening up a new place, or if they've been here for a while, just to see if they need any help while they're in the community. And that's what we do with the Chamber, to see if anybody needs help with anything.
It's the best value there is. For a very small annual fee, you're represented here in the state, as a small business, and all you have to do is show up once in a while and see all your friends, maybe have a cocktail, and there is no downside and every upside to being in the Chamber.
So right now we got some great raffle prizes going on right now. We've got a lot of great people that, you see at different events and stuff like that, and you get to meet new people, which has been amazing.
Well, I love the Archer, so any excuse to come to the Archer.
This is a big deal for us. This is our opportunity, like I said, to go across section of the Chamber, get them under one roof, and really tell everybody what the Chamber is about. There's those that, some of the larger companies are involved for government affairs, and they want to be dealing with policy, infrastructure, zoning, things like that, where there's other people that are small business owners that are just really out there fighting for their lives. And especially now, as we come out of the pandemic and the office buildings aren't quite as full as they once were, we want to show people that we're working hard not only in helping develop those relationships and do business development for small businesses, but working on the next wave of the larger companies that will come to Burlington.
For BNews Weekly, I'm Sydney Bowles.
Burlington resident Joyce Delianis took a movement for charity, goodwill, and kindness all the way from her hair salon chair to the Massachusetts State House. Her organization got former Governor Charlie Baker to sign a bill making May the official month of kindness back in 2016. Today, May 3rd, she's holding a Month of Kindness celebration at the American Legion Bar in Burlington, but she's not stopping there. She's working with the Burlington School District to bring a Month of Kindness curriculum to local students. Delianis told BNews she wanted young people to understand their strength. She said, and I quote, "They don't understand their worth and power. They have what it takes." Making sourdough might have been the quintessential hobby of COVID-19 lockdowns, but for Massachusetts-based influencer Sourdough Brandon, bread is so much more. He gave a presentation at Burlington's Public Library not too long ago, and BNews reporter Tad Stefanak has the story.
It was a packed house at the Burlington Public Library for a full presentation by Sourdough Brandon. Sourdough aficionado and social media sensation, BNews asked, "How did you get so into sourdough?"
Yeah, I grew up in the South, so my parents were always baking, and my grandma was always making Southern-style biscuits and other things like that. So that's where I got my inspiration for baking, and I was always in the kitchen with the dough whisk and on the KitchenAid eating all the chocolate from the chocolate cake and stuff. So I've always had an interest in baking. And then with sourdough, it was during COVID when a lot of people started the sourdough process. So I was always interested in bread baking, and that was finally gave me the time to really sit down and start that process. And when I made my first bread, that I would be doing it for the rest of my life. And then now it's my full-time job that I do this full-time. So it's really something that I'm passionate about. And so to get to share that with other, especially local bakers and people here in Massachusetts, is always really nice.
You can reach out to Sourdough Brandon for all your sourdough needs.
The website on sourdoughbrandon.com, that's where all of my recipes are and guides and tips and everything like that. And I take lots of suggestions. So if there's a recipe that you're interested in, feel free to email me at brandon@sourdoughbrandon.com and have my contact, or show up to one of my other workshops. I do these all over the state. People can find me kind of everywhere crossing the state doing this.
From the Burlington Public Library, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
You may have noticed a new blue bike rack at Simons Park. Turns out it's a joint project between the United Church of Christ and the Burlington Rotary Club. Anthony Matos has more.
On Sunday, April 28th, the United Church of Christ Congregational held a blessing for a bike rack to help promote a greener environment. Behind the event was the leader of the church's green team, Chris Stilinski.
Well, I'm moderator of the parish council here, and also I lead the green team, which is a group of, there's 5 women, and we look at how we can bring caring for God's creation to our congregation and working with them to get out in the community and spread this word and here at our own church.
Reverend Andrew Harris, who is the pastor at the UCC, discussed what it means to be a Level 2 Green Congregation Church.
Yeah, we just made it to Level 2, and that's been a long process, too. Our denomination, the United Church of Christ, is the one that doles out those certificates, and so we just made it to Level 2. We've had solar panels on our roof for a long time. We're switching to entirely compostable and recyclable things that we serve at coffee hour and things like that. There's a whole bunch of things they've been working on. They built a pollinator garden, and so there's a whole nother list of things to get to Level 3, and we're going to get working on that right away.
Level 1 congregations are just getting started, whereas Level 2 congregations are beginning to build momentum. And so they are building momentum, and at a faster rate than any of us could have anticipated.
The church worked with the Burlington Rotary Club, which helped make the bike rack a reality.
I'm actually a member of the Rotary, so when it was identified we needed some funding, and Rotary is very good with partnering with other organizations, and they were, stepped up to the plate and offered to sponsor the bike, and it falls in line with promoting, a greener, healthier environment for the community.
It's a step in the right direction to help make Burlington a more environmentally friendly place. Thanks again to the UCC and the Burlington Rotary Club, who made this all possible. From the Simons Park basketball courts, I'm Anthony Matos for BNEWS Weekly.
God bless this bike rack. Let it be a symbol to all people, and let it be the start of something new and beautiful and amazing. All this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Now let's turn again to Anthony for a look at how our high school athletes are doing in the spring season.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this weekly sports report. A very busy week for BHS Sports. Let's get right into it. The Burlington Baseball and Softball Association had an opening day ceremony on April 27th. For more, we go to BNews Sports reporter Robert Paris.
On the morning of April 27th, the Burlington Baseball and Softball Association kicked off the season with an opening day ceremony for 2024.
5 years in the making here. I think it was last done in 2019. We lost it to COVID, unfortunately, like we lost so many things. Pretty pumped to have it back. Doesn't start without my board of directors who put in countless hours during the off season to get the season going. Even during the season, they're here, pretty much from today through middle of June.
Brian was very pleased with the attendance, and it was a lot more than he expected.
Kind of overwhelmed by the turnout. This is an event really for our younger kids, the older leagues that we have, and then Coach Pizzotti and Coach Farrell bringing the high school teams up here was something that's been in the making for about a month now, and thrilled that they joined us, both quality coaches and better people, so I was pumped to have it. So this went off without a hitch. I couldn't be happier with how it came out.
The Red Devil baseball and softball teams made special appearances before the first pitches. The head coaches gave word of encouragement to the younger athletes.
It's an honor for us, our team, to be here. I remember when I was their age going through and doing this parade, and it was awesome. It was definitely a memory that I remember. Guys, just play hard. Girls, play hard. Listen to your coaches and give it your all every day.
As you heard, I have with me the state champs, Division II state champs. So awesome to bring that title home to Burlington for the first time ever in softball history. They did that by working hard, having a positive attitude, and I want you guys to make sure you guys do the same thing, okay? Come out on the field every single day, put in your best effort, be a great teammate, and most importantly, have some fun. It's a great sport.
I spoke to the athletes from both teams, who were excited to engage with younger players.
So there was a nice ceremony, and we got kind of introduced. We got to go around, talk, handshake to all the kids, the children that are playing. So it was a really good experience to kick off the season for them, and for them to see us kind of older and see where we are from where they started and where you can go. But yeah, so it was good.
It was great to see everybody out here. I mean, I remember when I was a kid in Little League and coming out here to opening day, walking around the town, feeling like, I own the place. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's just cool. We were these kids a couple years ago, looking up to the high schoolers. Now we're the high schoolers, having kids look up to us, and it's just cool.
Head coach Mike Mucho of the AAA 9-year-old baseball team couldn't be happier with the return of the ceremony.
Yeah, I think it's great to have the ceremonies back. I mean, my son's been in this program since T-ball, and it's the first time he's been able to participate in this because it was pre-COVID. So nice to get all the kids together, have them out here having fun, and you know, this is what it's all about, right? The kids just having a lot of fun. The opportunity to kind of build the kids' confidence throughout the years. They learn to play. I mean, this is the first time they face live pitching, so it's very scary for them. So I think keeping them confident, getting them excited about the game, and learning how to play the game is probably the funnest part.
And now the season is off and running at Simons Park.
Now I'm just looking forward to getting going and the kids competing and learning. You know, this is our lower leagues are developmental, and our hope is we get those kids to start to learn the game, and then our older leagues, it starts to get competitive, and it's fun to watch when you see a kid you saw in T-ball 7 years ago taking the mound for a game in majors under the lights on a Friday night and you know, throwing 60 miles an hour out there. It's pretty cool.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Lost to the Woburn Tanners 12-5 on April 26th. The team got back in the win column after a 13-1 win at home against Winchester on April 30th. Burlington will compete with Watertown on Thursday, where they won 9-3, moving their record to 7-5. Burlington baseball is 4-7 after back-to-back losses versus Woburn and Winchester, 6-1 and 5-3 respectively, and they had a game against Watertown on Thursday where they shut them out 5-0. Girls lacrosse went 1-2 this week after a win versus Melrose 8-5. Goals in the game were scored by Elizabeth Delory, CJ Tremblay, Jill Gillis, and Ava Robital. Burlington lost to Peabody in overtime 12-11. Goals in the game were scored by Charlize Collins, Emma Steiner, Elizabeth Delory, and Ilex Fowler. Their other loss this week was against Belmont. We were at that game, so let's roll the highlights.
A cloudy day didn't stop the Red Devils from taking on the Belmont Martyrs. In the first quarter, Belmont started the scoring that Burlington quickly responded. In the winding seconds of the quarter, the Devils scored a goal, but they still trailed 5-3. In the second, they came back to tie the score at 5, but Belmont tacked on 2 more goals before the end of the half, 7-5, Belmont. In the third, the Lady Devils fought hard to even up the score and eventually take a 9-8 lead, thanks to a CJ Tremblay free shot as we head into the final quarter. But as much fight as they had, it ran out as Belmont came out on top thanks to a late goal to make the score 13-12, which would end up being the final, as the Lady Devils dropped to 6-5 on the season.
Goals in the game were scored by CJ Tremblay, Elizabeth Delory, Jill Gillis, Pia Kasparian, and Charlize Collins. The next matchup is at Woburn, and as of this taping, the game has yet to be played. Boys lacrosse continues to be on a tear as they won all 3 of their games against Melrose 12-8, Lexington 15-11, and Belmont 18-10. Their record improves to 9-3 on the season, and they have a game at home against Woburn on May 3rd. As of this taping, the game is still to be played. Girls tennis went 1-1 this week after a loss against Belmont 3-2 and a win versus Woburn 4-1. Winners in the Belmont match were Mason Alonji and Sonali Patel, and the winners in the Woburn match were Mason Alonji and Treya Patel in the singles, along with Jules Piscatelli and Alessia Padrizzi, and Phoenix Mahoney and Therese Kaczynski for the doubles matches. Their record is now 6-3 after a 5-0 loss to Winchester on Thursday. Boys tennis improves to 5-3 on the season after a close 3-2 loss versus Belmont and a 5-0 win against Woburn. Winners in the match were Aditya Pathak, Rohan Parikh, and Tanush Naik for the singles matches, and in the doubles, Ethan Nguyen and Krish Soni, along with Abe Jumat and Arnesh Yola, won theirs. Their team is now 5-4 after a 4-1 loss to Winchester on Thursday, with Soham Shah winning his match. Girls track is now 2-2 after a 77-59 loss against Wakefield on April 30th. Boys track got a hard-fought victory against Wakefield 82-54, and they remain undefeated on the season. Both teams meet with Stoneham at home on May 9th. Boys volleyball is now 4-7 after going 1-2 this week with losses against Lexington and Woburn, both by a 3-0 score, and a win versus Salem 3-0. Burlington was in Somerville on Thursday where they lost in a 3-2 score. The results of the unified basketball game against Watertown on April 29th has not been posted. Currently, the team is sitting at 1-0. Results next week. For more White Devil action, go to bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNews Sports. It's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Now let's take a look at the forecast with weatherman Peter Brown, and stay tuned for your community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with the local weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards the first full week of May. I know it's hard to believe that we are getting in towards the latter portions of spring already, and our temperatures were pretty nice at the start of last week, and it cooled off quite a bit as we got into the later parts of this week. Now, starting our period on Friday, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the upper 60s to near 70, and we're going to be quite a bit cooler than that with some cloudy conditions around, temperatures struggling to make it past 60. And then as we round out the period next Thursday, we again should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year, again, around 70 or in the lower 70s. And by the time we get to the end of next week, looks like, again, we're going to be cooling off a little bit. It looks going to be pretty nice in between, but the bookends of our period looks like it's going to be kind of cool out there. So as you go ahead, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us in terms of temperatures and precipitation over the next 7 to 10 days. Looking at our temperature map, they're calling for us to have a chance of above average temperatures. I'm seeing that probably to start the work week off. Again, doesn't look like that's going to come to fruition over the weekend or towards the tail end of next week as we go into a fairly wet pattern. And talking about that as we go on to the precipitation map, they are calling for us to have above average chances of precipitation. I'm seeing that as well. In fact, I think we may have a chance of spotty showers almost every day next week. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming in. And again, starting out our period on Friday, we're going to be seeing again that chance of showers in there. Mostly cloudy out there. That's going to continue through most of the week. Wind temperatures still below average, staying only in the mid-60s. Now, as we get back into the start of the work week, we're going to be seeing some showers again, temperatures a little bit warmer into the mid to upper 70s. And as we close out the work week, getting in then towards Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to see the chance of steadier rain coming in Wednesday, and Thursday showers staying with us, with temperatures going back down into the mid-60s. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils!
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On May 10th through the 18th, the Burlington Players will be having their spring production of First Night, a romantic comedy by Jack Neary. For more information and tickets, go to burlingtonplayers.com. On May 11th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Burlington Mall will be having the Touch-A-Truck event. Explore, climb, and touch vehicles of all shapes and sizes. Fire trucks, construction loaders, farm equipment, big rigs, RVs, cool cars, and more. Also on May 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Burlington Board of Health will be having their community health fair at Burlington High School. Free activities include balance screenings, CPR training, vision and hearing screenings, mobility and stretching, and much more. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
As we do every week, we're finishing up with a photo sent in by a member of the community. Linda McNamee sent in this picture from a Girl Scout trip to East Hill Farm. She says the girls milked goats and cows, gathered eggs, rode horses, and churned their own butter. Thanks, Linda. If you have a photo you'd like to see featured here, email it to us at bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's this week's program. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Phil Gallagher, and I'll see you right here next week.